Hello everyone, welcome back. I'm Alex, and I do arty things. Unsurprisingly, I'm sick over Easter weekend, which means I can't film like I planned. Also, I have not had much time for digital art lately, and I really miss it. In addition, I've been feeling a bit frustrated with the few digital pieces I have done. So this is like the perfect opportunity to get back into the swing of things and push my skills. To kick it all off, I scrolled through Pinterest and made a mood board with the elements I wanted, and from there I could get started. For this piece, I prioritized 4 elements: an Easter theme, cute factor, readability, and overall flow. Starting with the pose, I lined up the anatomy as accurately as I could, just using simple lines to place the limbs. From there, I built up the figure, aiming to balance strong straight lines with some playful, exaggerated curves. Around then, I also decided that Rin would be my subject. Okay, if you are not familiar with Vocaloid, here comes a bit of a pop culture lore drop. Rin is one of the characters and voices from the singing program Vocaloid. It uses pre-recorded syllables, letters, and words that you can string together, pitch, and turn into full songs. Basically, you get to create music without singing it yourself. It's a whole thing. If you've ever seen Hatsune Miku, she's from that same world. Long explanation to say a short thing, but sometimes that's necessary. And I don't mind yapping, especially if it's to you guys. Anyway, Rin has a headband with ribbons, and I thought it looked like bunny ears, so that's what we're going for. I added a basket, but the original angle was leading the eye out of the composition, so I tweaked its position and, more importantly, added a few little bunnies to help pull the focus back in. They're not just cute, though obviously they are, they also help create that gentle circular motion I was aiming for. Once I had the layout figured out, I felt confident enough to do one final pass to refine the anatomy before diving into the details. Normally, I jump straight into drawing the face and the hair once I finish the anatomy. Now, that's worked for me in the past, but since readability and flow were big priorities for this piece, I realized I needed to block in the bigger shapes and overall subject matter first. Basically, if I start with details like the hair and eyes, I have to design everything else around them, rather than letting those smaller details support the bigger picture. For example, if I want to add something like a pretty collar that gives the dress more personality, but I've already drawn in the hair, I might end up skipping it just because I like how the hair turned out. So this time, once the anatomy was in place, I moved to planning the general outfit. I decided to build the outfit around a circular flow to guide the viewer's eyes through the piece. I really liked the top of this dress design, so I kept that, extended the ribbon, and adjusted the skirt to be more flowy. I'm curious, if you celebrate Easter, what kind of traditions did you grow up with? In my family, we'd always wake up to Easter baskets and do an egg hunt after church. We only decorated eggs a couple of times over the years, mostly because it was kind of messy. And honestly, none of us were huge fans of eggs anyway. If you have any fun or unique traditions, drop them in the comments. They're mine now. Those are my traditions now. Another small Vocaloid lore drop. Vocaloids have some sort of object that belongs to their brand. Because a leek, vegetable, for example, random, I know. Looking up Rin's object, I found out that Rin's is an orange, so I added that to the front. I managed to establish some great shapes in the body, clothes, hair, and details, making sure to keep the patterns of straight lines versus curves in mind. To include a lot of those Easter colors, I drew a variety of flowers in her basket. A few of you might remember of this, and if you don't, let me explain. Last year, around Easter time, I spotted these Peeps gummies, and I thought it would be hilarious to try it on camera. I figured I wouldn't like them, but that I would at least be like, they're okay, I would maybe eat them, but not really, because it's not worth the sugar. I tried them. I decided how funny would it be to do that again. Oh, that smells really freaking strongly. So this is marshmallow flavored cereal with marshmallows. Oh, great. Okay, so I'm getting in my daily dose of yellow 5, red 40, blue 1, and yellow 6. It's not as egregious as the Peeps gummies, I will say. I feel like the milk gives it too much credit and it softens the flavor. Let me try it like without the milk. Oh! Oh, that's pain. Oh. It's not throw up levels, but it's bad. And we're back. After laying down the flat colors, I took a step back and realized I wasn't loving them. They were fine, they would have worked, but they just weren't hitting the way I wanted. I messed around with some settings and ended up overlaying a pink tone across the whole piece, and boom. That was it. With my new soft, warm pastel palette, I focused on keeping the Easter vibe in the piece. The overall goal was to keep it light and fun without losing that overall flow that I worked so hard for. From there, I built up the colors gradually, working in layers, adjusting tones as I went, and making sure everything felt harmonious. The hair was especially fun. I leaned into soft golden yellows and very pretty pinks with subtle gradients to give it a warm glow. I colored in the flowers with simple detail, just enough shadow and highlight to make them feel full without pulling too much attention away from the rest of the drawing. I did the same with the basket, but added a wicker pattern to add an extra Easter touch. For the bunnies, I focused on soft shading and brushstrokes that, hopefully, read as fluffy fur. I added highlights to their big old eyes and some blush on their adorable bunny wabbit cheeks. From there, it was a lot of back and forth for the final decisions, applying shadows, blending, adding highlights, then blending again. But I realized I'd broken my own rule, trying to keep everything flowing in a circular pattern. Her arm and hand were leading the eye out of the flow. I still wanted to keep her arm up like she's mid-run, but I needed something to stop the eye, or at least help guide it back into the piece while sticking with the Easter theme. So I looked up some vintage postcards and ended up drawing one with roses. I'm pretty dang happy with how it turned out. I imported it into the artwork and adjusted it to fit naturally in her hand. I angled it just enough so that in theory it either stops your eye or redirects it back into the composition. I mean, I'm an amateur artist, so I'm just doing my best out here. And that's the final piece. I am really happy with how it turned out, especially considering I started this just wanting to get back into digital art after a bit of a break, and gosh darn sick. It felt good to be playful with the theme, try some new things, and just enjoy the process. Thanks so much for watching and hanging out with me. If you celebrate Easter, I hope you had a beautiful one. And even if you don't, I hope your spring has been full of peace and little joyful moments.